Hello and welcome to the Shoegaze 93 channel, and today we are doing a rank the shoegaze bands list. So I guess the categories are kind of discography, like how many albums and EPs they've got and the quality of them, also how active they are they still touring to this date, October 2022, or are they just releasing something like once every 10 years, all of that stuff. Another category is probably like influence. Have they influenced anything in the mainstream over the last 30 years? Or if they're a really new band, have they sort of toured with anybody like popular, like done any sort of Glastonbury shows or anything like that? So first thing up is we've got 93 Million Miles from the Sun, a Doncaster band, Yorkshire, England. Very loud band live. I've seen them once at the all-day Shoegaze festival at the Victoria Dalston last year. And oh yeah, and also we've got to rate the songs, obviously, like how strong are the songs? Are they just noise merchants, or is the band, are they capable of writing that pop melody? So we've got that shoegaze kind of aesthetic where we've got the pop sensibilities with the melody and the quiet vocals, but then we've got the kind of raucous guitar that's just so overwhelmingly loud, and in a stereo field it kind of covers the whole field. But yeah, 93 Million Miles are the first ones up. So I've got to be careful because I'm mates with lots of these people on Facebook. So yeah, I've got to be honest, but then I don't want to upset people. I do think I think they have a great overwhelming sound, but I'm feeling kind of B tier with them. I think that Nick Noble is a very hard-working musician. Like, he's always posting stuff online, and like they're always doing something, like playing a gig in Leeds and all this. I mean, they've been around since 2007, I believe. That was when their debut came around. So yeah, longevity, definitely. They're going to be qualify very high in terms of that. But I just think, you know, they lack some of the songs and stuff. I would like to see better songs from them. So at the moment, I'm thinking B tier. They are working on stuff now, so maybe we'll see. We'll hear something great then. But yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking any band here. I think everyone here has a right to be on this list, and every shoegaze band has their merits about them. So next is Aerofall, a Russian shoegaze band. I really think, what was that one they did? Forms was a really good album. It's got that song in it, Kalwai or something. It's a really good song on there. But I would say A tier for them. I mean, I was really impressed. You go check out their YouTube channel. I mean, their singles are great. Like, the singer Yana Kameshko is the lead vocalist, and I think she has a perfect voice, and some of the vocal like melodies she does, like the hoo ha, like the kind of that whisper kind of pattern, really is like MBV standard and above, really. So I think the vocals are above MBV, I would say. I really would go as far as that. Yeah, Aerofall from Russia. Go check them out. A tier band. Next is Aerial, and without hesitation, I have to put them in the S tier. Absolutely. The best. The greatest shoegaze band of the 2000s. The noughties. Absolutely, Jeremy Wren, an absolute genius who I just think needs more attention, and they seem to be able to pull the songs off live. I've never seen them personally, but I've seen In Your Room, which is like their biggest song, definitely in terms of views online. I've seen a live show that they did in like Los Angeles, and absolutely they've got the sound spot on. The textures are there, the ambience. Jeremy Wren's doing all of the glide guitar with the tremolo arm. They both got the Fender Jazz Masters and Jaguars, so they've definitely got the drip, as Finn McKenty would call it, the fashion. So yeah, absolutely without hesitation, the 2017 album Molten Young Lovers was brilliant. What's the lead single again? So I've got to hurry up because I don't think I've got much like data on this phone, like not enough storage. Yeah, 2017, obviously all of the Winks and Kisses EPs from 2003-4, that period, absolutely remarkable, a flawless discography. How active they are, they could be a little bit more active. Obviously it took them a whole decade between Battle of Sealand and Molten Young Lovers. Battle of Sealand is definitely another one worth checking out. It's got Sugar Crystals on it, which has input from the German electronic shoegazer Ulrich Schnaus, and it's just a really rocking album as well, like really like Swerve Driver-esque in a lot of places. Alright, next is Alison's Halo. I couldn't really get a logo for them. I think they're a really good band. I'm thinking B tier though. I really like the song called Dozen, and I think they're teasing new material at the moment, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they've got. Bleach, I'm gonna have to say they are great. I'm gonna have to say C tier though, because I just feel that they are more post-punk actually rather than shoegaze. They've definitely got 2 or 3 classics like Dipping and Seeing, Snag EP with Burn on it. That's the one with the you got the barbed wire with the leaf behind it. Yeah, that's a really good EP, and it's got a song called Seeing on it. You've got Shotgun, which the lead vocalist, what's her name, Sally Carson, she's got like rapping on it. And you've got Slip and Slide, which is really good, like, you are. So it's very like lush-esque vocals. Right, next is Blind Mr. Jones, and I think they're one of the more underrated shoegaze bands. Definitely, they're from the Thames Valley area. Is it Marlow? A town called Marlow or something? Gonna have to look that up. Is it Marlow? But they are really underrated. They did something called Stereo Musicale. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's like a French word, so I'm not quite sure about the pronunciation there. But yeah, they are from the Thames Valley area, which is like the epicenter of this whole scene back in the late 80s, early 90s. That was the area really that kind of took on the Cocteau Twins influence and the MBV and kind of blended it all together. House of Love as well were big influence on that scene, the scene that celebrates itself. That's the term for that area's shoegaze scene. Alright, next is, what the hell's that? Oh, I think this is meant to be the Boo Radleys, but like the logo fucked up. Right, S tier, Everything's Alright Forever. If you have not checked that album out, that is on par with Loveless and Souvlaki and Nowhere and Whirlpool, you name it, all of the best shoegaze albums. Everything's Alright Forever, 1992. Do check it out, because everybody overlooks it. I've seen all of the top 10 lists on YouTube, like the Pitchfork one and the other guy. Yeah, everybody overlooks this album. I don't think even people realize that it actually exists. Plus, you've got all of the EPs where arguably that's even better than the Everything's Alright material. Adrenaline EP, the Boo Up EP, you've got Every Heaven, the finest, which has the Finest Kiss on it, and Naomi, and Tortoiseshell. I mean, come on. The reverse reverb, the glide guitar on that song is Martin Carr. What that guy can do, it's really up there with Kevin Shields and Neil Halstead and Robin Guthrie. He is one of the big legends. Catherine Will, right, I'm going to say this is similar to the Bleach situation. They are more alternative rock. You know, they've got too many kind of rocky tropes for me, especially after Ferment. When you go beyond Ferment, you've got Chrome, you've got Adam and Eve, those kind of bands, albums, sorry, and they completely lost it after Ferment. Like, if you're talking about pure shoegaze, then they just can't be on the. They're not going to be highly rated. Ferment is the only one worth checking out. Right, Chapter House, Whirlpool. I would say, I don't know. It's either an S or A. I mean, we're dealing with Chapter House. I would put them in A tier because, as good as Whirlpool is, I have to say that Blood Music is a bit of a letdown, and they really lost the pure shoegaze vibe. Yeah, I mean, they were fantastic on Whirlpool, and like the early EPs, they were really on par with Ride when it comes to those early EPs. And Whirlpool is probably just as good as Nowhere. I mean, it's definitely got more effects in it than Nowhere, that's for sure. I mean, you can really hear the Elise's quadriverb coming through on like almost every track, like Treasure and Auto Sleeper. April, my god, April, what a track that is. And then it was mixed by Robin Guthrie. At least some of the tracks were. Like, I know for sure that Something More was definitely mixed by the great Robin Guthrie. And speaking of Robin Guthrie, next up we've got the Cocktail Twins, which automatically goes into the S tier. I mean, influence, absolutely 100%. They've influenced every dream band, not just shoegaze, but like dream pop and trip hop, and you know, that's emphasized by Liz Fraser obviously doing Teardrop with Massive Attack. So they definitely had influence on trip hop and just everything dreamy, like up to like Grimes, and you think about like Wolf Alice, and they've had influence in the commercial area, not just the underground. You think of what's it, Steel Corners, and you think of Daughter, those bands, like is it Hatchie, isn't it? Hatchie, another kind of commercial pop artist, but you can feel, I mean, the Cocktail Twins, like more than half of these bands would not exist without them. Absolutely. Robin Guthrie and Liz Fraser, absolutely incredible partnership in inventiveness. They are unparalleled, really. I mean, maybe MBV can touch them, but yeah, I mean, this is incredible. Robin Guthrie's solo stuff, the ambient guitar stuff is absolutely phenomenal. The post-rock ambient stuff he does on the solo records is phenomenal. Right, S tier, 4, Curve. This is Curve, although this is another cocked up logo. Yeah, Tony Holiday, or is it Halliday, or Tony Halliday and one of the sexiest females to ever front any kind of band. One of the best voices. They had this really great industrial style. Dean Garcia, the sort of the main visionary behind the band, is still doing stuff. Not with Curve, but with a family member in Space Echo, and he keeps on doing like remasters and like remixes and stuff of like Curve's like old live shows. It's really interesting. The stuff he puts on Facebook it's great because he goes back and he kind of like remasters stuff and like remixes, right? But yeah, S tier bands really. There's no one that sounds like Curve, and there would not be any Garbage or Shirley Manson without Curve. I mean, Butch Vig listened to these guys and like thought, yeah, let's take this sound and let's make it marketable. Let's make it commercial. So yeah, Curve S tier. Death Heaven, I'm gonna say because they're mostly metal, they have to be on the C tier. But I was very impressed with Infinite Granite. I think In Blur is one of the best songs. Dive, A tier. I really think Deceiver was the best album that they've done, because they moved away from the Joy Division sound and they really laid on the MBV fuzz and reverb and just everything great like that. I just wish they had a sampler as well, the Akai SK1000. They need something like that to really get into MBV territory. Drop 19's first D tier band. I'm going to get a lot of stick for this, but I really don't care. My opinion is that Delaware is an absolute shit show of an album. I don't understand it. Bar 2 or 3 tracks, there is hardly any shoegaze on that album. How much does it take to get that into your small heads? Like, yeah, I've heard this Mayfield demo, yeah, which is obviously bad quality, but obviously because I like a lot of lo-fi stuff, that doesn't bother me. But yeah, that's incredible. The Mayfield stuff is. But that's it. They didn't even release it. They didn't go back and release it. Maybe we'll see that with the release of Hard Light. But yeah, I don't get the hype around Delaware at all. Right, this is meant to be Exit Khan, and I think they're really one of the underrated bands who really took the Verve. They took the Verve's style and really created their own sound, mega sound with it. It's like Verve meets. They've got the attitude of like Richard Ashcroft with meets Pink Shiny Ultra Blast. They're like a mod band that's like a mod shoegaze hybrid. It's amazing. Yeah. Don't Look Down, really great. Awake is my favourite track. Awake. Hearts and Minds. The Rapture, just incredible songs. Flying Colours, S tier. Absolutely one of the best new bands on the scene, without question. From Australia. There's a great scene actually that developed in the 2010s in Australia. You had Miners, you had Blush Response, there's Flying Colours, there's Miniatures. Oh, I forgot to put them on the list. Jessamines, one of the best albums of the 2010s. What You Want, Try, just tracks like that. Oh, Miniatures, I forgot to add them. But yeah, Flying Colours, like the one with the owl on the front. What's it called again? What's it called? The 2016 one. Because they did that, was it Rogyib or something like that, didn't they? That EP with Wavy Gravy on it, and I thought that was great enough. And then they came out with their first album, and it absolutely blew everything out of the water. Mindfulness, that's what it's called. Absolutely phenomenal. Right, Hum, B tier. I was really impressed with that 2020 album, Inlet, that was incredible. Shapeshifter, what a track to end it with. My God, they are one of the heavier bands in this field. Like with Swerve Driver, you can see how Swerve Driver influenced this band, and every every rocking shoegaze band was kind of influenced by Swerve Driver, especially on the American side of things. So yeah, B tier, because I just think that, however, they don't really have enough shoegaze material. Right, Nothing, A tier. One of the best bands of the 2010s, really prolific, from Guilty of Everything to Tired of Tomorrow to what was the one after, 2018 one with Blue Line Baby on it. But yeah, anyway, just great stuff. Nothing, really great. They could be a bit better live though. Adorable, B tier. Not actually C, because I just think that they're not really shoegazy enough. They're kind of like a Britpop kind of hybrid, very much like Blur on the Leisure album. But yeah, they got some great songs like Sunshine Smile, Homeboy. Just check Against Perfection out. A to Fade In is my favourite. Lilies, probably the best. S tier. They are the best, or they're right up there with the Swirlies, America's greatest shoegaze band. The Lilies and the Swirlies, they are the two, and you can also put Medicine in there as well. Lush, S tier, absolutely, without a doubt. Mickey Burenyi. Oh, I don't know why is the logo like turned black for? It's not very clear. Yeah, Mickey Burenyi and Emma Anderson, one of the best songwriting partnerships ever. And Emma Anderson is really underrated as a guitarist. Spooky Split, the Gala compilation of their early EPs, just check it out. And the Blind Spot EP from 2016 was really, we were really hoping for like a full-length album after that, but it never emerged due to such a sad ending to such a great band. Medicine, S tier. I just think the invention that Beth Thompson and what's the guy called again? Oh, I lost the guy's name, the guitarist. Oh, Brad Laner. Brad Laner. Just tell me in the comments what how to pronounce it. But yeah, apparently he got that distortion sound by playing through a Tascam. He got it through playing through a 4-tracker, which I just think is genius, really. Yeah, one of these here. Just like one of these, that Tascams. And yeah, I think they're one of America's greatest bands in shoegaze. Definitely got the industrial curve-like feel to them. Moose, they have to be, or because they were the first band to ever be called shoegazers, they have to be A tier. But I can't put them any higher because they fell off the wagon very quickly. Like, they had the Cool Breeze EP and the Jack EP, which is incredible, rough and ready shoegaze. Like, the production is so raw, but that's what makes it so special. It's really raucous, and it's okay. Sorry about that, guys. I ran out of memory on the phone. Storage, I mean. Okay, so we continue. I think if I place it like that, should be able to see the chart. Okay, so next, well, This is My Bloody Valentine. Wonder if you've heard of them. I wonder. Well, I mean, if you refer to the categories that I made at the start of this video, when you talk about activity, they would actually be very low, and they would probably be like C tier because of that. But because this is My Bloody Valentine, I mean, you can't really argue. They gotta be S. Oh, the logo's gone dark again, and well, it's not really much of a logo anyway. I've kind of cocked it up there. I should have just got the one that says MBV instead of the full name. I think fans prefer the acronym MBV anyway, because it just doesn't sound quite as emo gothy. Well, it's more emo, innit? Nothing wrong with goth. I like goth. It's just, yeah, no one wants to sound like 2000s emo. I mean, that really is the lowest of the low. I mean, lost profits. I mean, who the hell wants to be associated with that disgusting band? But yeah, obviously S tier. They are the band that, when people talk about shoegaze, they are like normally the first name that gets mentioned because of Loveless, this legendary Pink album that kind of changed the face of, well, it should have changed the face of rock music. I mean, I've got it on my wall there next to Everything's Alright Forever, which is on par with that album, actually. Those two, Loveless and Everything's Alright Forever, they are on par with each other, for creativity, for the songs, for thinking outside the box. Yeah, I mean, the samples they used, they were like influenced by Public Enemy, like Kevin Shields. Like, he looked around at the hip hop scene, he looked round at acid house. That's why you get tracks like Soon and tracks like the instrumentals they did, instrumental A and instrumental B. That was the actual Public Enemy drum loop that they used there. So yeah, I mean, he incorporated everything. Kevin Shields did everything that was going on at the time and kind of turned it into his own magnum opus. That is the only way to describe it. And I thought 2013's comeback was incredible as well. I mean, there's even like this mad dubstep kind of track on it, like, if you want to call it that. Yeah, I can't remember what it is now. Is it something Wonder in it or something? Wonder 2. But yeah, MBV, they are the Nirvana of shoegaze. They are the Black Sabbath. Like what Black Sabbath is to metal, they are to shoegaze. Or maybe they're the Metallica, but then that would make them quite shit, wouldn't it? So maybe not the best parallel, but yeah, probably the Sabbath. I mean, they are the quintessential shoegazing band. Next is a very new entry, Nociens. I did call them Nocines for quite a while, but the band members actually came up to me at a gig and said that's wrong. So it's Nociens from Bristol, and they've got this crazy Italian drummer who I really like. He's got a good sense of humor and seems to post a lot of funny stuff on Facebook. But because they're so new, they've got a great sound and great production, absolutely great, really well mixed and mastered. I think they get Simon Scott to master their stuff, but because they're really new and they haven't really got enough of a discography, I'm gonna have to say no higher than the B at this moment of time. But I do believe that they could be at least an A tier band in the future if they keep going the way they are. yeah, really one of the best new breakthrough bands of the last 2 or 3 years, up there with Velveteen. Next is Pale Saints, another classic. I think A tier. I think Pale Saints are from Leeds, um, really quite remote from the rest of the shoegaze scene at the time. Quite an unusual part of the world to come from if you're going to be a shoegaze band. But yeah, they are. In Ribbons is probably my favourite, although lots of people will vouch for the Comforts of Madness as being their quintessential album. But to me, I believe that I think In Ribbons is just better. Like, there's definitely more shoegaze on it. Um, when you think about Hair Shoes, Hunted, um, Ordeal, which has amazing feedback from Graham Naismith, great play in there, kind of like Sonic Youth mixed with The Cure, or like The Smiths mixed with Radiohead. Like, it's that kind of guitar playing where like you've got the jingle jangle going on, but then you've also got the like the feedback frenzy of Sonic Youth in there, and like the noise. It's like noise with the jangle, very much on the Ride kind of wavelength. Like Ride and Chapter House and Pale Saints, I always kind of group them together as being like brother bands. They're just like very similar in terms of sound. But yeah, I think A tier is fair. I mean, they're not super shoegaze. I mean, especially on the debut album, there's nothing really too noisy. I mean, Sight of You is one of the best tracks of all time, definitely. Insubstantial is really good. You get Sea of Sound. I think that song alone promotes them, elevates them to A tier. But they could be B tier, but I just think on the strength of Hair Shoes and Sea of Sound, I think they're going to have to be just squeezed into A. Right, next is a more modern band from Russia. This is why is this so zoomed in? Right. Oh, sorry, you haven't been able to see the screen for a long time then. Shit. Right, the next one is Pink Shiny Ultra Blast, one of the more modern entries from Russia. A bit like Black and Burger or Black and Burge, another great band from that area, who I couldn't really find a logo for, so I kind of left them out of the debate. But Black and Burger would probably be like A tier. I would say Pink Shiny Ultra Blast is probably A tier. I just think they have an incredible, powerful sound, really over bloated, similar to the Japanese guys like Tokyo Shoegazer, who are coming up soon, and Lemon's Chair. All of that good stuff. Yeah, I think A is fair. Alright, next we've got Ride, and well, they are my favourite band of all time. But that's more to do with the songwriting and the sound. I mean, everything is great about Ride. They are the most underrated British band of the last 30 years. I mean, everyone goes on about the Stone Roses, and the Lars, but Ride had such a phenomenal impact on 90s guitar music that it's unbelievable that people don't acknowledge them. But yeah, just go listen to Ride. Like, you'll understand. They're like the Stone Roses mixed with MBV, My Bloody Valentine. Like, they've got the noise aspect, and then they've got the British sound going on as well. So they've got everything. But in terms of pure shoegaze, they're not one of the more shoegazier bands, because they're not like really heavy on effects usage. Like, for one, their vocals shine through a lot more than they shine through a lot more than most other bands. I mean, like even a similar band like Chapter House, when you listen to a song like Breather or Pearl, like Chapter House's vocals are still quite murky and hidden because of all the reverb and that, but Rides are always very clear. But don't let that take. I'm doing stuff at the moment. Get out. But yeah, I just think because of the talent, they're gonna have to be S tier. I mean, there is no better drummer than Los Colbert. There really isn't. Los Colbert is the best drummer. Mark Gardner is a great songwriter. They both play 12-string Rickenbackers. Like, what more do you want? They use the Roland GP16, which I've got as a rack effect unit. Yeah, S tier, without a doubt. They're phenomenal live. They are very active. They're still coming out with new albums. Weather Diaries and This Is Not a Safe Place both came out in the last 5 years, the late 2010s. So yeah, they are great live, and I think the live draw is it sets them apart from a lot of these bands. They're phenomenal. Brixton Academy in 1992. Look at the gig footage of that. Look at the gig footage. Absolutely. Town and Country Club as well, and absolutely every Rider gig is an absolute noise fest, and they can really play. But next up is Ringo Death Star. What's happening here with this recording? It keeps on frightening me because my mobile keeps on making noises. I think it's going to cut off in a minute, but just low battery stuff. Right. Next up, Ringo Death Star, one of the best bands of the 2010s. S tier, without a doubt. I think there wouldn't be Pink Shiny Ultra Blast without them, and there wouldn't be Aero 4. I think Ringo Death Star, because Color Trip came out in 2011, I think they influenced the rest of the decade. They were one of the trailblazers for the 2010s revival. Pure Mood, Color Trip, great albums. Elliot Frazier and Alex Gehring, incredible. Rumskib, this is a band that came out with one album in 2007, but because of the strength of that album, because it's a perfect marriage of the Cocktail Twins and My Bloody Valentine, it has to be A tier. I can't put them any lower than that, because of how that is a perfect album. Hearts on Fire, Springtime, Think Eyes Away, Where Are the Flowers, Dream Poppers Tribute. I mean, what a song that is. Keith Canisius, you need to follow him. He's done some great electronica projects as well. So yeah, Rumskib, A tier. They're Danish, which is quite an unusual place to come from. A bit like that other band, Baraka. What was it? Boris Baraka or something? Doris Baraka, that's it. Alright, next, Seafill. S tier. Absolutely S tier. Because they influenced, they pioneered the kind of electronic side of shoegaze. Like, there wouldn't be Ulrich Schnauz without Seafill. And like Curve and Medicine, you can dance your butt off to this stuff. Really great. Is it Kike or Kike from 93? Plain Song, Climatic Phase 3, Charlotte's Mouth, Industrious. I mean, it's a great example of how like a guitar can be chopped up and sliced in production to make it sound like a completely different instrument. And why not? I mean, that's a great way of doing it. I mean, why? The rock side is great, but then I also like people should not be overlooking the electronic side. They are just as talented, I mean, if not more. I mean, to be able to slice the guitar up like that is incredible, and like using the delays and loops to keep in a perfect rhythmic pulse is It's remarkable. Right, next, Slow Dive. Well, that can only be S tier, can't it? That can only be S tier. When we're talking about Slow Dive, Steve Larkey, Just for a Day. Just for a Day, I actually prefer Just for a Day. I just hate that the bands do not acknowledge that popular opinion, and they do not play any, apart from Catch the Breeze, they don't play Primal, they don't play Waves, they don't play Spanish Air, Brighter, The Sad Man. Like, all of these are just brilliant, and they picked up the pieces that the Cocteau Twins left, and they are super ambient, but it's like an aggressive ambience, like a powerful ambience. That's how I've always described Slow Dive, a bit like Kitchens of Distinction. They've got such a powerful ambient sound that it fills up the whole venue when they play live. And yeah, just go check out their live bootlegs. They are just remarkable recordings. Yeah, so S tier, everyone knows about them now, and really looking forward to their new release, which should be coming next year. Alright, next, Smashing Pumpkins. Well, they're not quite a shoegaze band, but because of Siamese Dream, I'm putting them on here, but only C tier, because they've only played a little part in the shoegaze story, really. I mean, definitely Billy Corgan always bigs the genre up, and he's in every single interview in the world, isn't he? Let's be honest. Whether he's talking about conspiracy theories or he's talking about music, he's pretty much all over YouTube. But yeah, I mean, the guy did some great stuff with Siamese Dream, and like even Infinite Sadness had a couple of great shoegazy songs on there. So I would have to put them C tier, just because of the little involvement in the scene, and the little amount of influence, like that's kind of overshadowed by their kind of Queen classic rock kind of tropes and grunge tropes. Next, Swallow is a small 4AD band. I would say B tier. I think they did one like good album called Blow. She's got really sweet voice, like the Allison's Halo singer. I think they're worth checking out, but only B tier because of the little amount of material that they've got. But yeah, check Blow out by Swallow, one of 4AD's unsung heroes. Sway, this is a 2000s band. Again, gonna have to be B tier, as I think they've done kind of little in the way of material, but then they've got songs like Fall on the the Green and Milia EP. Or was it the Pink and Milia EP or something, isn't it? The Milia Pink and Green EP, that's it. Yeah, that's the one. Just on the strength of that, basically. That's why they go straight into B tier. Yeah, I mean, what an album that is. Celeste, wow, what a track. Sounds Like Everyone, that's the underrated track from them. Yeah, so Sway, B tier. But I mean, if they had more material, they would easily be A tier, but I just can't really put them any higher. Swerve Driver, well, there wouldn't be any hard rocking shoegaze without them. They go S tier, definitely one of the legends. I was going to put them in A tier, but then I remember their live show, and seriously, there isn't a stage that looks like a Swerve Driver show. I mean, the amount of pedals that they've got, 15 pedals between 15 pedals each, 30 pedals between them. That is insane. Adam Franklin, Jimmy Hartridge, one of the best like interlinking guitarists, like the way they weave their guitars through each other. It's like the Rolling Stones, or Guns N' Roses, but the shoegaze style of that. And in terms of the interplay, and Rick Beato is a massive fan, so that's got to be saying something. But yeah, they've got more pedals than a car on stage. Oh, that was a really crap simile, but but more pedals than like one of those bikes in like a bike in India. I don't know, but more pedals than one of those tandem bikes, like. Yeah. Like Swerve Driver, they've got more pedals than one of these. Yeah, that's a better simile, I think. And yeah, but yeah, great live band, absolutely. I've seen them play Raise and Mezcal Head together on one night, and my ears were completely shot in a great way. Right, Swirlies next. Right, well, they're gonna have to be S tier as well, because I've got Lilies and Medicine on there, and there's no way that Swirlies are not on par with those guys. There's a great video on YouTube from 1993, the year I was born, where they're playing in someone's garden in America. They're just playing in the garden, and I just think that's really cool. Absolutely super cool band to do that. Damon is the main guy, and yeah, he's really great. Jeremy Parker, what a song. And they kind of took shoegaze a lot further than most bands, like in terms of longevity. They did a 1996 album, The Wild Youthful Days or whatever, like blah blah blah. It's quite a long title, but that basically was an album that came out like after the whole kind of shoegaze period. So I really appreciate them for like carrying it on, holding the torch, like even though it was really unpopular at that time. All right, next, The Telescopes. I'm going to say A tier. Really great songs on the EP, like Ever So and Flying. But, you know, they've kind of gone on to more sort of droney kind of projects. But, yeah, great band from the north of England. Now we've got Tokyo Shoegazer, one of the examples of the overblown Japanese style. I'm going to say B, because it is just kind of noise over songwriting. So I'll say B for them. Oh, this is also Tokyo Shoegazer. That's one of the albums. Okay, I put them on here twice. I cocked up there, but basically those two images are Tokyo Shoegazer. But yeah, definitely worth checking out if you want great 2010 shoegaze. The Verve, well, they've done some great stuff. I really like the B-sides on the fourth album that they did in 2008. Really, the Rather B-sides, like Major Force, are really good, and Appalachian Springs, and I really like Blue Pacific Ocean, which remarkably was an unreleased track. But yeah, I mean, because I was going to say C because they're mostly associated with Britpop, but I think B because Nick McCabe's guitar work is incredible. I mean, he is a shoegaze guitarist through and through, with the ambience he brings. Somebody described him as Brian Eno and guitar. I mean, I would probably put that accolade to Robin Guthrie because he was before McCabe. But yeah, that's a very fitting statement. And then Wolf Alice last, because I really appreciate, I put B tier because I really think they took shoegaze into the mainstream with My Love Is Cool. And well, Blue Weekend doesn't really have that many elements of shoegaze. It's kind of all over the place in terms of styles. You got soul stuff on there, like Ellie's obviously quite a good singer, so her vocals stick out a lot more. It's being utilized a lot more than just simply a texture. which is what most shoegaze bands do. But yeah, I really appreciate the way that they've took it in. I appreciate the way that Wolf Alice took shoegaze into the mainstream in the mid 2010s. So yeah, that concludes my list, guys. So we've got Ariel, the Boo Radleys, Cocteau Twins, Curve, Flying Colours, Lilies, Lush, Medicine, My Bloody Valentine, Ride, Ringo Death Star, Sea Phil, Slow Dive, Swerve Driver, and the Swirlies, all in the S tier, which means legendary tier or special. And then you've got A tier, Aerofall, Blind Mr. Jones, Chapter House, which I was thinking about S tier, but then they didn't really do enough material for me. Then you've got Dive, Exit Calm, Nothing, Moose, Pearl Saints, Pink Shiny Ultra Blast, Rumskib, The Telescopes, all in A. And then B, 93 Million Miles from the Sun, Doncaster Legends, Allison's Halo, Hum, Nociens, Swallow, Sway, Tokyo Shoegazer, The Verve, or just Verve, and Wolf Alice. And then C, Bleach, Catherine Wheel, Deaf Heaven, Adorable, Smashing Pumpkins, and then drop 19s in the D tier, meaning D for don't listen. So